was gonna look, and I was like, well, whoever's speaking.
We're a little bit, this is
Yeah, mostly outside. Much better. Yes. Well, you want.
Before Orlinda comes up here to be on platform today, because the 4th is coming next week, we are gonna sing American Beautiful, which is hymn number 362 in your hymnal. And I have a video that I'll bring up that has the lyrics on it in case you don't want to hear it.
Well, that was lovely singing from you all this morning. Good morning to all of you. It's nice to see so many of you here, especially with the holiday coming up. And thank you, Robin, for getting us off to that start. Our lovely Linda Westacott was a platform person for today, but she's a little bit under the weather. So if you're listening out there, Linda, we're sending you lots of healing vibes. And I will get through this platform part the best I can. I was prepared for the message, but not for this. But we're a friendly group. We pretty much know what we're doing, and the few of you that are here that are new, just, pretend you know what we're doing. So I think, well, welcome to Unity. That's the first thing. And our Sunday services are live streamed, so welcome to all of you out there in live stream land. You can make a donation that way too, so you're not off the hook there. At PayPal, unitybillings@gmail.com, or on the website, unityofbillings.org, just click on the donate button. And we mention that at the front just to get it out of the way, because even though it's a free coming to you free, of course, we gotta pay, keep the lights on and all here, so consider that if you are able. Next thing I believe is Friendship Sunday Potluck, which is July 14th. Yeah, so downstairs after the service, so bring something wonderful and yummy to eat.
Or just come.
Or just come. Yeah, there's always plenty of food. Linda always keeps us well supplied with treats. I think I saw some good looking cookies down there.
Oh, I brought those in.
Yeah, for today.
I heard baking this morning.
I know, she gets up and bakes early for us, so thank you, Robin. Special thanks to everyone who helped clean up Unity on cleaning today, and gosh, I unfortunately was out of town, so you won't see me helping there, but a lot of folks came and did the annual cleanup indoors and outdoors, so thank you to all of you who helped with that. And then the workshop with Dr. Phil, when he was down from Unity of Bozeman. Oh, I am so sorry I missed that as well. That looks like that was a terrific time, and hopefully he'll be back with something else, another fun workshop for us. Today is me. A lot of me today. Secrets of Belonging. And a reminder that no services next Sunday, July 7th, in honor of the holiday weekend. And then July 14th will be Reverend Edie Weigel, who's here with us today as well. So that's what you have to look forward to. And I believe now we are lighting our Christ candle, is that correct? Unity song. Unity song first, all right? I think most of you know this. Not sing along, hum along, or just enjoy the music, and Robin will hit the play button for us. Kind of a time for us just to settle in and relax after those rousing announcements. Get centered and focused and be present right here, right now.
Every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel, is already here, is already real. There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice
let's just take a moment to sit with that idea that we are one in the presence of spirit, in the presence of our physical group here today, and always in the presence of that divine knowledge and inspiration. I'm so happy to see all of you today. The Unity Foundation, or the lighting of the president. So as we light the Christ candle, I will do a reading from the Daily Word. And there is a little congregation response, so let's begin with that first. It's right up here. Affirming the divinity of all the world's people, I envision a world of peace. And from the Daily Word for June 30th. Peace is meant for every person of every faith in the land. Today I look beyond the news of the world, reports of strife and conflict, even the agitation and unforgiveness in my own heart, and find the peace of God. I believe the desire for lasting peace is within each person's heart. In prayer, I affirm this truth and envision this desire growing stronger among the world's people until peace can no longer be denied. It is our shared destiny to live in peace. When each person wants for all people what they want for themselves, harmony will blanket the earth. I affirm the peace I wish for myself is dawning in the hearts of others. In prayer, I see them safe and secure in the heart of God, forever and at peace. From theologians, now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and all ways. The Lord be with all of you. And let's do our affirmation again. Affirming the divinity of all the world's people, I envision a world of peace. Flip pages here. All right, and I believe it's is this our Unity of, yeah, all right. Our Unity Foundation principle here for the church here, and I'll have you join me with this as well. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. My apologies, Rob. I think I got it now. I flipped the page, I got it, okay. And this is the Unity of Billings affirmation. Through divine wisdom and grace, Unity of Billings is vibrant, healing, and inclusive. And thank you for your grace and patience with me this morning. All right, and now I believe it is our time of sharing. Yeah. All right, so if you are able and if you choose to make a donation to Unity Church, of course, you only do that if that is in your heart and that is something you choose to do and feel good about that. But as you hold that gift in your hand or a wonderful prayer for unity in your mind, let's do our love offering together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful.
And we had a request for special music for
A dance song.
And dance to.
All right. All right, whoever requested that, get up here and be the leader.
No.
I'm kidding. This is a Karen Drucker song, and if you'd like to stand up and get a little movement within your body. Feel good.
Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you
and your blessings for Unity Church, knowing that they go to serve good not only right here in this community, but out into the world, and we are grateful. All right. Me now, right?
And now it's you.
All right. Now, I do need to switch microphones here.
It's turn you on.
Come turn me on. Instead of switching hats, it's switching microphones. Same idea, though.
I wanna know why. Turn you on, so-
Well, why? Oh, and now she has to go turn me on over there. Why? Because
I'm getting my steps in today.
because I like to move around a little bit when I talk. And I like to feel more like, you know, I can see all of you and we're kind of in the center here. But our announcements, the camera's focused over there for the announcements, so that's why. So that mic works there, and this one I think is working here. Now that we have all that out of the way, I'm just gonna do this once more here. So my message title today is The Secrets of Belonging. I borrowed some of it from Reverend Michelle Madrano, who is a lead minister at Mile High Church of Religious Science in Denver, where I used to attend, and I listened to her online. She had some great ideas that I wanted to share today, and I always like to attribute that. And it's really for the purpose, as everything here, of deepening our own personal spiritual connection and just enjoying life in general more fully and more fun. So some of Reverend Madrano's words and some of my own research and insights and teaching from different faith traditions is what I have to offer for us today, with the purpose of addressing, what we may or may need not to realize, some things in our life, just some general reminders. I note that we do use the word God here at Unity, and as always, if that's a trigger word for you, just let it bring to mind whatever it is for you that is your God of choice and your God of understanding. There really is no word, I don't think, that describes what it is that created us, what brought us here. So sometimes it's hard to find a definition. I often call it divine knowing or intelligence, but whatever works for you, just substitute that in there. The founder of religious science, Ernest Holmes, studied New Thought alongside the founders of Unity, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, and he said, I believe that everything exists as an expression of God, and that's why we're here. There's an inner something in us that belongs to the universe. And we have to get rid of all that inhibits it in every sense of rejection and guilt and insecurity and anxiety. So my question to you today, and you don't have to answer that out loud, is, are we an expression of God? Is that why we're here? Answer may be different for all of us. There are, so many things in the world right now that can infuse us with that sense of rejection or guilt or insecurity, and it takes us out of our true nature of being an expression of God or nature or that divine source, whatever that is for you. And these days, sometimes it feels like, man, there's just so much angst and heartache and anger in the world. Like everyone's yelling at each other on the internet, on social media. And whether it's, during political campaigns, whatever it is, we are infused with it. It can feel like, for me anyway, maybe for some of you too. And at times we probably navigate all of that fear of being misjudged or misunderstood or mislabeled, and all of that sense of insecurity and that's going on in the world, and it takes us so easily out of our true nature, at least for me. But we're going to change that today, right? Yeah. Or we're going to give it a go. So belonging can be described as banding together with like-minded people and finding safety in areas of common thought and common action. And I think we kind of all search for some security, whether it's like financial or having a home or having friends or having a special person in our life. But I'd like to have us focus today on really that only kind of security that we can always be assured of, no matter what those outside circumstances are. And that really is that security in here. It's that security that warms our heart, makes glad our mind, and feeds our soul. It's the connection within us that really created us, connects us, guides us, and there is no other lasting security. And I don't mean that to sound like a bummer, but it can be really a very wonderful feeling. We just sometimes have to remember. I think just about every human being longs for a sense of belonging. Do you sometimes feel that, or like you don't belong? Where do I belong? And when we don't feel that we belong somewhere, anywhere in the world, it can manifest in some ways that are not so productive. There was, some of you may have heard it, and because I work in the news business, it's a little more prevalent, but there was a press conference not too long ago by the Billings chief of police. He was talking about the number of very young people who are involved in some very violent behavior these days in Billings. 12 and 13-year-old boys committing very violent crimes. And it has never been, the crime may have been prevalent, but not this young of people involved. And he said that in every case of young person that was involved, they have investigated and prosecuted all of those kids. It was gang related. And the superintendent of schools spoke, and he said, out of all those kids that were involved, they had all dropped out of school. They didn't feel they belonged at school. Probably most of them had a home life where they didn't feel like they belonged, maybe not in their community, in their neighborhood. And so, guess who comes along and makes them feel that they belong? Yeah, unfortunately, there are people who prey on that and recognize that, whether it's a gang or whatever type of group. Even when we know it's not good for us, that sense of wanting to belong is so strong that we may find ourselves engaging, in not positive behavior for ourselves, but to feed that sense of belonging. Now, of course, there can be good groups and organizations for that too. But I say that because the sense of belonging is, it seems so simple yet so very complicated. It seems to me the search for belonging is really the core of some of the greatest searches of our lives, if we really break it down. Who are we? Where did we come from? What are we here for? All those big life questions that we have. That yearning to feel connected no matter what. So as we struggle with that sometimes, that sense of connection and belonging to the universe and to the people we share life with, if it feels discombobulating sometimes. So I'm going to guess that I'm not the only one who's ever walked into an organization or a job, maybe even a church, and felt completely compelled to get out of there. Like I don't belong here. I once left a cart in the middle of Home Depot of things because I got so overwhelmed. So much stuff that I don't belong here, I gotta get out. So that we can have those even real world experiences. Nor am I the only one who ever walked into an environment and felt, this feels good, this feels like home. Hopefully for some of you that's Unity as well. So I'm going to invite us today to really reflect on our sense of belonging and where have we felt the lack of it and where have we felt the presence of it. And sometimes it's right within our families, within our communities. I often think of now the transgender issues that are big in the news and other people wanting to make decisions about that and about LGBTQ plus individuals. And there are transgender rights and healthcare, of course, coming to the forefront. So it can be good, it can be not so good. But that's something that's certainly prevalent more in our society than it's ever been. Globally, I think of all the people who are displaced because of war. They've had to move completely to a different country. They may not even know the language. Talk about not feeling like you belong, so it's globally. And we already talked about it right within our own little community here in Billings. So it seems such a clear message when you think about it, how a sense of belonging is or is not disrupting our world. And of course, first with us. Not feeling like we belong in our family, you feel like, I think I'm adopted in this family. There's so much that needs healing in that regard. Maybe for you and maybe not, but certainly I think community-wise and globally. I think if everyone felt a sense of belonging, we may not reach out in anger so much towards each other because we would feel belonging. We would not feel so afraid and so alone at times. Reverend Michelle talked about we might have belonging issues sometimes as individuals and as humans, and that can be from generational issues. There are sometimes, you want to get the name of it right, the study of generational, where we felt, the word is, I'm losing the word, but where things have happened pardon me?
Trauma?
Well, yeah, trauma, but where trauma has happened even generations before us in our families. And it can be carried down, there's some research that says it's carried down energetically, it's carried down physically that we may not even be aware of. So there can be that, there are so many places that we can, look for and maybe to heal within ourselves. And we often forget, especially in times of stress, where we truly belong, at least I can say that for myself, that we belong. Wait a minute, I belong to the universe, I belong to that which created me, I belong to that which is so much bigger than all of that stuff going on outside of me. And it's easy to forget. Losing a job or having a rift with family or friends, it can feel devastating, and not to diminish it. But what can happen is we go into that tailspin of trauma or drama or turmoil, and we let that override everything, and then we react to that instead of first going, wait a minute. I may need to deal with this on the outside, but let me first feel that connection, that belonging to that divine wisdom, that sense of self, that knowing that is always here within me. I know sometimes it can be scary. We might get a health diagnosis or some health news, and I found myself doing this recently. First, like, oh no, well, what if this happens, and what if that happens, and blah, 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 blah. Wait a minute. First of all, I don't know that any of this is going to happen. And then let me just take a minute, take a breath, and go, wait a minute. I know who I am within. I know where I belong. I have that sense of connection. And no matter what a diagnosis or anything is on the outside, I know that I have choice. I know that I have freedom. I know that I have that grounding. So I'm going to invite us right here today to consider what we might be able to do to heal that sense of belonging and deepen it. And whether it was something we might have hid from people or something that others told us was unacceptable, maybe it was religion, maybe we were bullied because we looked at something differently, spoke differently, maybe it's our family. We always do have a choice. Sometimes that's hard to remember. And generally, generational psychology was the term I was trying to think of. It's actually a study about being influenced at energetic levels. So no matter how it occurred, whether it's that generation of disconnect, a sense that I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, we can perpetuate that if we aren't paying attention. Independence Day is coming up, and Robin played that song for us, and I was thinking about the first 3 words of the Constitution, we the people. And I was reading a little bit about that from the Heritage Foundation. I don't know much about it. But there was a gentleman named Edwin Folder, and he was talking about explaining America's unique founding principles, which I never really associated so much with spiritual principles and new thought. And then I went, wait a minute. So he said this, our nation is unique because of its universal founding principles. At the heart of these principles is the belief that people are free by nature and possess inherent rights. And the outcomes of those choices will naturally differ too, but the choice remains ours. So it kind of made me think of the Constitution, the 4th of July, in a more spiritual way. We are free by nature to possess inherent rights, like the choice to connect with and nurture that spiritual source first. And along with the Constitution, along with New Thought beliefs, of course, the Bible has a lot to say about belonging. In Buddha talks about having dharma and seeking refuge from ignorance and fear of loneliness. So there are many, many philosophies and schools of thought about belonging. Specifically in Buddhism, letting go of the illusion of who we think we are as a way to move past self-deception and discover our true heart and mind. So are we the people who are going to say enough when it comes to shutting out others or allowing a group of people or children or ourselves not to feel like we belong? Are we the people who are going to declare our own sovereignty from outside influences, from old stories, from generational trauma, from anything that keeps us from enjoying this life right here, right now fully? Are we the people who are going to go first to God, to belonging in times of trouble? Are we the people who are going to give up any kind of belonging wound or story? So I'm going to invite us to do a little bit of a practice now. I always like to give us something that we can do here and you can take home for further practice if you choose. So let's take a deep breath. Get ourselves back recentered. And if you choose, and this is always by choice, I'm going to invite you, and we could put the, questions of the different categories, and there are many, many, of course. I've just chosen a few here. And I'm going to give us just a minute, and I'll give us a little prompt as we go along. To let ourselves go into that secret silence of our own minds. I'm not going to ask you to share like I do sometimes. So you can be totally honest with yourself. You can ask your soul and be open to what your soul tells you. So a good way to begin this is to ask the question, do I or do I not feel I belong in my chosen field of work, in my job? Just let the yes or no come to you. You don't have to overthink it. And whatever that answer is, whatever category you're on here, if the answer is yes, I feel I belong, try to get a sense of how that feels in your body. Does your body relax? How does it feel to belong? Do you have good conversation with people? Do you laugh? How does it feel to you? If the answer is no, I don't feel like I belong in my chosen career or my job, what does that feel like in your body? Does it kind of tense you up a little bit? What might be the ways that not belonging manifests? You get grumpy at work, maybe you take extra sick time, you just don't have joy when you go in, you dread going in. And when you, whatever topic you choose, when you're done with that, you can ponder on that a while. You could choose the next one. Do I feel a sense of belonging in my community? And ask those same questions and let those same feelings arise, whether the answer is yes or no. Just going to give us a couple of minutes with some quiet time to work with that. Another question to ask would be, where do I feel I most belong? Where am I, or what am I doing when I feel the greatest sense of belonging? And maybe the greatest question we can ask ourselves, do I feel I belong in my life? Do I feel the joy and that sense of wonder and acceptance in my life? And if you choose, one of the ways we can work with this exercise is if there is one of those categories where you feel you do not belong, it doesn't feel joyful, it doesn't feel accepted, it doesn't feel accepted, it doesn't feel joyful, 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 it doesn't feel accepted You may bring to mind one of the areas, that sense of belonging, what it's like when we do feel we belong. And perhaps we can take those feelings and those emotions into any situation where we feel we don't belong and see if perhaps we can cultivate that. Or if not, recognize that it's okay to move away from that person or that group or that community where we don't feel we belong. And the final and very most important question is, do I feel I belong to God or the universe or nature? Or turn the question into, what is it? What is it that cannot be named that is within me, to which I feel I belong, or I so want to feel that I belong? And I wish for you today, our prayer, our intention, is to remember ever so gently times of confusion, discord, or unhappiness, worry. Just to take a moment and absolutely know that we can get in touch with that with which we truly belong, that which truly matters, that divine sense of knowing within us, where all the answers lie, where belonging is simple. And when we are grounded in that sense of belonging within our hearts, within our minds, within our souls, to ourselves, to the universe, then all those answers for the outside world come so much more easily. I'm going to wrap this up with a prayer and affirmation, and then Linda's going to play a song for us that, for me, really serves as such a wonderful reminder of that which is within. And then we can just, when we are finished with the music, we'll stand and circle for our closing. Today, we choose to accept the divine sense of belonging, to recognize the belonging that we have in this universe, each one of us, each soul, a unique expression of divine energy, perfect in its presence. We honor these divine ways that we choose to express our greater good, our creativity, our aliveness, our wholeness, our love, our joy, our peace, our abundance, our wellness in the world. We choose and we lean into it. I accept and affirm in the standing together in this way that each one of us finds it and expresses ways for greater belonging for ourselves and all others in these coming days, that we allow ourselves to be made whole by releasing our stories of not belonging, allowing spirit to feel that space with awareness, that any rejection can simply be redirected and is an invitation into that greater truth of who we are. Knowing my wholeness, knowing my deep sense of belonging to the divine, manifests through me, radiates out into others in this world for the highest good of all involved.
If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. The voice of God, the voice of God. You might hear the voice of God. Voice of God, the voice of God. You might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, may you hear the voice of God.
May you always know the voice of God, of the divine, of your sense of oneness is present within you, always, at every moment. May a sense of belonging bring you peace, bring you joy, and bring you love. As always. And oh, I do just remember the Unity Board did want us to open it up after a message to any questions or comments or sharing, so we can do that. If not, we'll just stand and do our peace offering. Good. Right. So for those of you who are newbies, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just thought you answered all our questions.
Oh. And for anyone new, we stand and join hands if you're comfortable to doing that for our healing circle, and let there be peace on earth.
And Edie, could we impose upon you to do the prayer circle part?
I turned it off.
Yes, you're good.
All right.
We always make sort of a parody. It's never a circle.
It's a heart attack.
Yeah, that works. It is.
So we've been calling this our wellness circle now. So
So let's all go deep in our heart of hearts, take a big deep breath. And this is our wellness circle where we can say the names of our beloveds, our loved ones, and people that we know that we need to send our healing and wellness energy to. I'm starting with my dear friend Nick Kinsey and the family of K.T. Monson. And you can add in the names of anyone that you'd like to bless.
Prayers of healing for Sharon, Heather, Bob, and Steve as they make their cancer journey. And prayers of gratitude for everyone who got that fire out yesterday.
I had a prayer of gratitude for my healthy, beautiful, 1-week-old granddaughter. Yes, and prayers of healing for her mother, my daughter, who had some considerable complications from the emergency C-section. So full healing for her.
There's healing from that, just down now, Lyme disease. Second, is healing.
I'm grateful for my family. Little girl that was just born, my 5th generation.
Wow.
Alive. And well.
And also prayers for our friend Mike Turley.
And I'm gonna say prayers of gratitude because Susan brought some of those homemade mints that she made for that wedding. I saw them downstairs and I can speak from experience, they're delicious.
Yeah,
Eat 'em up.
downstairs. All right, Charlotte's not here, who remembers her little saying?
From the tops of our heads to the tips of our toes, we are healthy and whole in mind, body, and soul.
All right.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Anyone is new today, I welcome you, we welcome you, and there are, welcome packets right here, if anyone is new.
And if nothing else, there's a little yellow piece of paper in the program and around. If you give me your name and your email address, we will get you on the list so you can get the weekly newsletter that comes out email on Thursday. So coffee downstairs, coffee and cookies and mint. I know her. I want you guys to all know, I'm not spraying with this different hair. You don't get like some realization.
Yeah, actually, I'm certainly, I actually saw the Unity Village on my way to school.
Did you?
Yeah. I was there, about 30 years ago, 25 years ago, but I moved there for a little bit. So I went there for a little bit. Coming
So Marcia wants to start with the young students, so let you off.
Oh, right. Fourth of July.